Okay, everybody. I haven't been live streaming for a while. It's been like 5 weeks. Been really busy with a couple of jobs and stuff I've been working on. But today I have a special guest, my buddy, my second cousin twice removed, Kira. She's going to be joining on a live stream. She wanted to be involved. She doesn't really follow the stock market too closely, but she shops at Walmart a lot. So I think she'll have a lot of good insight into the day-to-day operations of Walmart, who is going to be releasing earnings this week. And they're 844 billion market cap. That's a big company. Like, I don't think before Berkshire Hathaway, there was never a company that hit $1 trillion. That was a non-tech company. Only tech companies have hit $1 trillion market cap until Berkshire Hathaway did. Let that sink in. But if Walmart does, there'll be a second. So Kira, I know you're a big fan of Walmart. There's one pretty close to you, right?
Yeah, no, I won't dox myself. No, I fucking love Walmart. We in this channel, we shop at Walmart. We don't shop at Target. So like honestly, no, we don't do Target over here. But yeah,
Walmart is the best.
Period.
Sell everything. That's like like when people ask, sometimes people ask my advice. They have small businesses and they say, should I sell this? Should I sell that? And I say, you can't, not everybody can be Walmart. You can't just sell everything, even though whenever you sell something additional to your current product, so you add a product, even if you get sales from that product, that doesn't mean it's a good thing. You have to look at the overall. You have to look at the margins. And if you sell X product, that could possibly detract from Y product, and Y product may be much more profitable. So if 90% of your sales is from Y product, it could just be diluting by trying to add new products. So it's hard to sell everything. We can't all be Walmarts. We have to specialize. So yeah, thanks for that. What do you buy at Walmart? Like, what's your favorite thing to buy? Like in terms of like clothing or jewelry?
Honestly, like I enter Walmart, my first thought is probably like, well, I love the clothes, honestly. Like, I'm a fashion girly, so like obviously, and then
the fashion,
period. But anyways, second.
When you say that, I think of Curb. Anybody watch Curb Your Enthusiasm? There was this little kid. He must have been like 10, 11 years old, and he was very flamboyant. And he said that the fashion, but it's really funny skit. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. Okay, so that's interesting. You like the clothes at Walmart. Not many people would have thought that.
I mean, like, I'm not really like a bougie girl, honestly. Like, if it's cute, it's cute. Like, I don't care. Like Walmart, whatever. What else?
Do you like jewelry?
I like yeah, occasionally. I mean, I also love the section where it has like the CDs and like the vinyls and all that. I'm just too cool, honestly, and the books. I love the books too.
The books, okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Walmart, which is kind of like people think of Amazon. Amazon started as a book seller. They just sold books, and then they became the online Walmart. Here's a little fun fact. Walmart is the largest employer in the world. They employ more people than any entity, including the U.S. government. I think they have like 2 million employees. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but they're the largest employer in the world. They have the most revenue of any company in the world. So it's pretty impressive stats, if you ask me. I think as a business owner, I think the best thing you can do is employ people, because it's nothing wrong with being an employee, but if you start a business, you take that risk and you employ even 2 people. Doesn't have to be millions. It could be 2 people, could be 7 people, could be 50 people. You're giving someone the opportunity to support themselves and support their family, which is a really noble thing. So and it really bothers me when people like talk negatively about like people like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. You should start a business and give people, and they're giving millions of people the opportunity to work, and most people just shit on them who don't even, some of them don't even work. So that's why I just don't listen to people, because people are just usually jealous, and instead of trying to improve their situation, they just have to cut other people down. That's how they get through the day. Not us, Kira, right?
Yeah,
We
not
don't have
us. Not us.
people
We're
down.
different.
We're better than
Yeah,
that.
we spread positivity on this channel. All right, you know.
Right.
Mhm.
Walmart home delivery is great. Yeah,
Home
Walmart.
delivery.
I just ordered Squishmallows from Walmart. A lot of Squishmallows, like hundreds of dollars of Squishmallows. Because I have a small business where I teach kids how to sew stuffed animals. So in order to motivate the kids, they could earn prizes.
I want prizes.
Yeah. And Kira's going to help me. She's going to help me run one of my stores if she ever moves out to California. Yeah.
I'm planning it with the like $200 in my bank account right now.
200.
Solely for,
At least we don't have debt. A lot of people are negative like $100,000. But
at least I have something. I have
positive. It's positive.
Exactly.
That's better than a lot of people. Because that's the biggest stress in life. Well, life is a pretty big stress, but money is a huge stress. It causes a lot of people kill themselves over money. People divorce over money. People, do things, illegal things like rob banks over money. Money is very powerful. But that's why you watch my channel, everyone, right? So we don't have to stress a little less about money. But these are the who's reporting this week earnings. So Kira, when I say report earnings, every quarter, a public company is required to report their financial earnings, so they can tell the investors how much money they earned or how much money they lost over the quarter.
Oh my gosh, wait. Since like you're like so like you're so like knowledgeable about the stock market, right?
Yeah,
you can like
very knowledgeable.
you can like make my $200. You can make me into a millionaire with like your knowledge of the stock market. Like just tell me like what companies to invest in,
It is. It's not gambling. You can't really turn $200. You could get lucky.
Yes, you can. Well, I get lucky. Please help me.
I could turn $200 into maybe $1,000 over a couple of years, but to guarantee, there's really no guarantee. But it is a lot easier to turn $200 into $400. It's a lot easier to do that than to turn 200,000 to 400,000 or 2 million to 4 million. As you get larger in numbers, it gets a little more challenging. Because I think a lot of people on here, even if you say you had $200 to your name, you could probably do something today and make $50. I don't know. If you live in Minnesota, you can maybe shovel someone's driveway, or maybe mow someone's lawn, or maybe on Nextdoor post an ad saying if you need somebody to drive you to the airport and back. So if you think about it, if you make $50 today, that's 25% of your net worth you just made in one day. You can't really make 20. Like if you had, say you had $20,000 in the bank, and you wanted to make an equivalent percentage of money today, that means you'd have to make $5,000 today, which is pretty much impossible. Legally, I'm talking. If you do something legally, it's pretty much impossible to make $5,000 in one day. But that's why when you have the smaller amount of money you have, the more you can make as a percent of your portfolio. And Buffett said that a lot. Kira, did I lose you? Okay. Buffett used to say that, like, I could turn $1 million into 2 million, but it's hard for me to turn 100 billion to 200 billion, because you can't buy more than 100% of a company, right? So if he knew of a great company, if the company's market cap was $100 million, he can't really buy more than $100 million. She's gonna open a brokerage account, and I'm gonna walk her through it. And but yeah, we talk about this stuff a lot, right, Kira?
Yeah.
Investing. Well, maybe not a lot, but we'll talk more about it.
What?
We talk. What's that?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's a brokerage account?
It's just an account where you can buy and sell stock or bonds. It's just if you open up a checking account, that's just an account where you can store money, maybe earn a little interest. But a brokerage account is just an account that gives you the ability to invest the money. I mean, is that the definition of a brokerage account? That's what I think of it. But it doesn't have to be stocks. It could be bonds, mutual funds, options, if you get approval. Yeah, ETFs.
ETFs.
Which is, I like ETFs a lot. She needs to start in options trading. You know, I did options trading even when I didn't have that much money. I used to trade options a lot in my early 20s. It's just fun. Like, I don't really do much. I did buy an option. You know, I bought a couple of options recently, and I lost almost 100% of my investment. But that's what you did. That's what happens when you buy options. You're not looking to make a 10% return with options. You're either going to make a 500% return or zero. Is really probably not much in between. Is this introduction to finance class?
Yes, it is. Yes.
I mean,
why? It basically
I could
is.
do an introduction to finance class, but Kiara just wants to be part of the stream. She wanted to and maybe contribute. But I'm telling you, if you want to be part of the stream, you should let me know. And even if you know very little, doesn't matter, because you're going to learn a lot on the stream, because you're more likely to remember it if you're on the stream and you ask direct questions, even if you look silly, because that's how you learn, is when you stress, when things go wrong. That's the best learning. You don't learn from just like say you want to shoot free throws, and you could hit 90% of your free throws. You can do that for hours and hours and hours, but you got to start playing basketball with other people, or maybe shoot from other parts of the court. That's when you start stressing, and that's when you learn. You have to push yourself. So I'm going to CBNA and XYZ. Pray for me. Carvana? Is that Carvana, CBNA? Yeah. What's XYZ? A block. XYZ. It used to be SQ, no? Square? When did they change it? When did block their ticker. Oh, this. Okay, recently. So in January, that's such a good ticker, right? That's epic. XYZ. I like tickers when it makes sense. Like you could connect it with the company. I mean, this is not XYZ doesn't really connect to block, but it's just a cool ticker. Are you guys like that? I always think like companies with a single letter like a T, AT&T. I always think like the stock will go up more just because you have a single letter ticker. I think it's psychological. Or like, Tesla, TSLA, pick a ticker like TLSA. People might buy it. Maybe buy a ticker that sounds like a popular ticker. Okay, so here let's look at what else is. So does anybody want to talk about so BHP? They're one of the largest commodity companies in the world. It's BHP, Vale. Who is the third? Who are the big three? Let's see if anybody knows. There's BHP. There's Vale. What's the third company that make up the big three? Did you ever hear of these companies? Vale or BHP?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm new to this. Like that one person said, this is a finance class for me at least. So I'm just listening.
Rio Tinto, yeah, exactly, Rio Tinto. So those three companies kind of control the world output of like steel. Rio Tinto, they're British. I thought, wait, I know Vale is Brazilian. Rio is British. Yeah, so if you want pretty much copper, silver, gold, those three companies are pretty much control the output of those commodities. Vale always seems to be the most undervalued because it's a Brazilian company and there's a country risk involved. It usually pays a really high dividend. Let's see what it is right now. 15%, which is nuts. But if you get it at a right price, you'll make a ton of money. You'll be set for the rest of your life. Let me go to Simply Wall Street. Vale and Petrobras, nice dividends. Yeah, those Brazilian companies pay really, really nice dividends. Yeah, Kira, if you have a question, let me know. Sorry, I'm kind of like not. So this is Vale. The peak was right before the Great Recession at $40 a share. But you don't have to make like a 10x return on the stock. Like if you could pick up Vale at like, I guess maybe in a single digit area. Well, right now it's single digits actually. It's $9. I mean, if you timed it real well, like just to do the math easy. So let's just pretend it's $10 even, the stock. If you bought it at 5, and there's a couple of points you could have bought it at 5 in 2015, 2016. It was like $6.50 in 2020. But if you got it at 5, that's your cost basis. So we're just going to assume it's 10. It's not 10. It's a little under 10, but 10. And it's paying a 15% dividend. So what would be the yield if you bought it at 5? So say in 2016, you bought it at $5. That's your cost basis. And today it's $10. So your yield would be different than people buying it today. What would be your dividend yield? Does anybody know? I'll talk about dividends. Well, it's pretty it's a pretty easy one once I tell you how to do it. But what's your dividend yield? Your cost basis is $5. The stock is currently trading at $10, and the current yield is 15%. So, but what's your personal yield since you bought at $5? Kira, do you know what a dividend is?
No.
Exactly, 30%, which is crazy, right? 30% yield. That's a big yield. But if you bought like, if you bought it like at IPO at $2, your yield is 75% yield. Like people like Warren Buffett, his yield is like probably like 500% because he bought it like Coca-Cola in the 70s. Yeah, so a dividend is just cash that a company pays you because you own the stock.
The company pays you.
They pay you cash because you own their stock. This is a good kind of discussion point. Let me know why would a company pay a dividend? Like what's a reason a company would pay a dividend to an individual? What do you think, Kira? Why would a company let's make it simple. Say my company, right? You say you invest in my company, and just say you gave me $1,000. Nicholas, that is where it comes from, remaining cash flow. But why would they do it? Like, what's the benefit? What's the benefit to the company? What's the benefit to me? I'm not saying how do they do it, but why do it at all? Because obviously a lot of companies, probably 90% of the companies, do not pay a dividend. So if you gave me $1,000 to help me start my business, I needed help from family and friends. And say I said to you, I'm going to give you $50 a year, forever. Why would I do that? Do you know? Yeah, to reward the shareholders. Yeah, it encourages people to buy your stock because if I offer a 3% dividend, you may buy my stock, my company, because you want to get that dividend. And if I raise the dividend to 5%, do you think more people will buy the stock or less people? More people. Even though we know it doesn't affect the company, by paying a higher dividend, it depletes the cash flow of the company. So it's not like the company's doing better by paying a higher dividend. It's kind of like a wash. Paying a dividend, because if there's say $1 million of cash flow and you give me $1,000, I have $1,000 more, but the company has $1,000 less. So it's kind of a wash. It doesn't it's incentive to hold stock. So it doesn't really benefit the company or me. It's a kind of a break-even proposition, if that makes sense. Because I do have more cash in my pocket, but the company's worth less. If the company's worth less, then they're less able to do things like to buy another company or expand. So when you take money away from a company, it makes them worse off. So it's kind of like a wash. Same thing with buying back stock. It doesn't really benefit. You're just diluting shareholders and bringing cash into the company. But there's nothing wrong with buying dividend-paying stocks. Kira, so yeah, dividends. Mostly U.S. companies will give you, like, say you invest $1,000 into Coca-Cola, which is a pretty popular stock. 2.8. That's the dividend yield. So if you bought $1,000 worth of Coca-Cola stock, every year they would pay you $28 in cash just for holding the stock.
I mean, I could get rich that way, honestly. Like, I mean,
some people have gotten rich from dividends. When a company pays a dividend, the value of the stock goes down an equal amount as dividend paid. So if you own $1,000 of, say it's 2023, you own $1,000 of Apple, and they pay you 2.8% dividend. And then 2024. So that's going to be hard to. I was saying, if they did not pay the dividend, your $1,000 would be worth more than $1,000. It would be 2.8% more. I think people. So if they didn't pay you a dividend, then you would just the value of your stock will be more than if they did. So it's in one hand, it's Peter paying Paul. So it doesn't benefit you in the long run, but it gives you the comfort. A lot of people like that dividend. Reason why Berkshire does not pay dividends because they allocate capital. Right. I don't care if a company doesn't pay dividends as long as they use the money appropriately to grow the business. Some companies, there's not much to. They kind of have to pay a dividend, like a utility company. Like you can't. Railroads are a good example. Like if you're a railroad company, you can't just constantly expand every year and just build tracks. It's just not that easy. But if you're a tech company, you could constantly grow. You can just buy another tech company or buy a company that does something within tech slightly different. Like if you sell phones, you buy, you start working on iPads or whatever. I don't know. But like utility companies or commodity companies, they usually pay dividends because there's less potential to grow, and it's harder to grow. So that's. But I'm happy to incentive to hold stock. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. So Kira, is this getting boring or is it hard? Or do you have any? Let's see if there's any companies that are reporting that you heard of. I think Carvana. Have you heard of Carvana?
Yeah, there used to be like one like close where I lived. So
yeah. And this is like people don't think of when they invest. Think of it on a simplified basis. Like, have you seen this business? Do they run a good business? Because if you walked into a store, if you walked into a Carvana, whether you wanted to buy a car or not, if it looked like messy and you didn't get good customer service, you're gonna think it might be like that at other Carvanas. So maybe you wouldn't invest, or maybe because that happened to me too. Like I went to a business. I'm like they're on top of things. Like the great customer service, great product. So I'm more likely to buy the stock. So that's probably as equally as important as looking at their financials. Look at the company on a simple basis of, is it a good company? Do they provide a good service? Yeah. So you probably heard of Alibaba, right? Baba.
Yeah.
The Chinese e-commerce company. I think probably everybody heard of Baba. And that's one of the best companies. It's just, do you know why Alibaba stock is not as high or not even close to Walmart?
Mm-mm.
I mean, the main reason is, I mean, obviously Walmart is slightly different. They're mainly brick and mortar, and Baba is strictly e-commerce. But you guys in the chat know the reason Baba stock is kind of like capped at a certain point. It's the country risk premium. When you're in China or when you're in a certain country, you can only go so high in price before it's kind of capped because of that risk. The government will interfere, which the Chinese government has done before. So yeah, Baba peaked at 300. Chinese Communist Party is a risk to the world, not just yes, exactly. It's a risk to the world, especially a risk to a company within the borders. Because you could say it's a risk to American companies, but not nearly as much as the company in the country. But yeah, I remember when it got down to like, yeah, it was in the 60s at the end of 2022. I did buy it and sold it, but then it went up, and then I think I'm a genius. I'm up like 80%, then it comes right back down. But it really hasn't broken through. Like, cause remember when Charlie Munger was buying like billions and billions of Baba as it was going down. But once it kind of bottomed out, it's really it's like 2.5 years of trading sideways. It never really broke out. I mean, it got up to 120, but unless you're buying and selling constantly, you can't really make money on this stock. It's kind of breaking out a little now. So it's the last time it broke through like 120 was back in 2021. So I don't know. Is it going to finally blow up? Like if you look at similar companies, like Amazon just keeps going up. Like this is still trading about almost 70% below its peak. Amazon is a pretty similar company. Of course, no two companies are identical, but it's the most similar, and you could see Amazon is just pretty much keeps breaking its all-time highs because it's an American company. Isn't it great being an American, Kira?
Yeah, I love being American so much. I am such like a strong patriot. You know, I'm just
You should be.
love my country.
Very patriotic.
Mm-hmm.
New is reporting. I own New. That's my biggest gainer percent-wise. At one point, I was up almost 300% on my New investment. I did catch it at almost the bottom. I bought it at 4.25. The bottom was like 375, and it did hit 15. It's come down. It's probably like 12 or something. I haven't. Oh, it's almost 14, so it's coming back. But I just got real lucky. I bought it. When did I buy it? It must have been, I think, in 2022. I got a 4.25. I think the low was like 350. It looks 331 was the low. And when it broke through 15, I was up near 300%. It came down to 10, but now it's coming back. She might like Lululemon, Ulta, Roblox.
I love Roblox.
Roblox?
Yeah, fucking love Roblox.
Roblox is a
Disney. Yeah, I love Disney.
Yeah, it's really struggled since hitting its peak. The peak for a lot of stocks, because I mean, this IPO'd after COVID, so a lot of stocks came down a lot in March 2020, and then like went up like most of these stocks that crashed double or tripled, and the peak was at the end of 2021. But since then, companies like this have not come close to their all-time high, the peak in 2021. Good companies like like Amazon, Meta, they're now past their all-time highs. But yeah, there was this huge surge buying stocks like this, a lot of stocks, because things were at such a discount during COVID. But yeah, what do you think as an investment? Do you think Roblox is a good investment?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I personally, I love Roblox. Alright, so like even if it wasn't like the best investment, like I still love Roblox. So like of course I'm gonna invest. This is my hard-earned money into Roblox. You know.
That's important when you invest in a company, in a stock. Do you like what they do? Like I can invest in like Ulta Beauty. I can invest in like a women's store, or maybe or products for elderly people. Like I can invest in something I don't use. But if you really love a company, it does make the investment a little easier. And especially if it goes down a lot, like there's a market crash. If you know in your heart it's a good company because you experienced it, you're more likely to hold and wait it out. Where if you're not that familiar with the company, you might just sell it and like sell at a loss. But that's how I was like that with Meta. I knew the product. I knew they were a good company long term, so I just held out, even though it went down. So Roblox, it's just a platform where you play games. How do you do you do you like earn points like by playing games, or do you have to pay money to like is like a membership model? You have to pay each month,
Um,
or is there a free version you
we,
use?
there's a free version, like you can spend money to like get certain things in it, but like you don't have to. So it's free. Like if you're broke, like I'm broke, then you,
Yeah,
you yeah, if you're broke, like you can play Roblox free of charge.
and you have to
Yeah.
understand like when you look at a business like this and say, and if most of the users are under 16, they're not working. And most of the users are on a free version. That doesn't mean it's not a good investment. You have to, how do they make money? And I'm sure you guys know it's ad revenue. They make money from selling ads. So they don't need people to buy their product or buy their service. It doesn't really matter if anybody, it's like Netflix didn't have, they had no commercials for the longest time. So it's just, you have to understand how they make money. So it's pretty much ad revenue. Let's see. I could imagine it's like probably well over 90% of their revenue, probably close to 99%. Let's see the 10Q. Let's see how they generate revenue. You don't have to get deep into the financials. Just look at it from a real cursory perspective. Just look at how they generate revenue. 918 million. Look how much it jumped from last year. It was 700 million. How do they generate revenue? Well, this is the countries. So US is probably the biggest, but they generate revenue all over the world. So that gives you comfort. They can scale and grow pretty easily. Well, we don't know. They don't. I wish they broke it down. Revenue increased 200 million. It must be ad revenue. It would be nice if they lose money.
And Robux.
The increase in the amortization, the increase in bookings during. I'm surprised they don't give a breakdown of how they generate revenue. Okay. How does Roblox make money? Oh, that's it.
Scott,
Yeah.
I have to go really quick. Is that okay?
Yeah. This is probably not much fun.
It's very fun. I just have to go.
Okay, no problem. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye. Look at earnings, not revenue for Roblox. No, I know. I'm sure they have negative earnings. I could imagine. I was just curious how they generated their revenue. Yeah, they have net loss in third quarter of 24. Let's see cash flow, because they might have a lot of write downs. So that cash flow positive. So 600 million of cash flow for the trailing 9 months. So they're not doing that bad. Because they give out so much stock-based compensation. That's how these companies do it, especially younger companies. They give their staff stock, which is not doesn't cost them anything. They do have to pay the taxes on the stock though. And there's depreciation, amortization. But I wonder why they don't explain how they generate revenue. It must be ad revenue. Look at earnings. They don't make it easy, some of these companies. The company receives payments from its users based on the payments terms established in its contracts. They don't really. The increase in bookings during the 3 months compared to 3 months was due to higher average number of daily unique paying users. So they do have paying users. So maybe, which increased from 870,000 to 1.1 million. The average number of daily unique paying users represents. Yeah, I know they make money on their Robux. Like people buy Robux points to use in games. But I would have thought ad revenue is their bulk. Does Roblox make advertising revenue? So it says 50% of revenue comes from in-game advertising. So about half. So that's less than I thought, which I'm really surprised, but I guess. So if you pay for the service, it's ad free. But if it's free, if you don't pay for Roblox, you just use the games for free, then you have to watch ads, and that's how they make money from selling ad space. So who else? Copart, Newmont, Block is this week on Thursday. VIP Shop, Arbor Realty, that's a REIT, right? Transocean, $3 billion market cap. If you like the oil and gas industry. Arista is a big company. Medtronic, another big company. Occidental Petroleum. Buffett is big on Occidental. He keeps buying. Baidu, another Chinese company. Okay, well, thanks for joining. I think we'll call it here. I'll try to do more live streams. It's been a while since I did a live stream. But just comment on my videos if you have questions on a topic we should cover. Just let me know. And I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks a lot.